Hello everybody. Good evening or good afternoon wherever you're at. I'm Najumu here and welcome to Stories from Seoul, the Gun Dog. First off, this has nothing to do with Soul Bad Guy from Guilty Gear. No, this is its own thing. But apparently the synopsis of the story is that we are part of the crew called the Gun Dog, and we're going into a usual excursion, right? That the ship usually goes for, a reconnaissance mission to be precise. But something happens that kind of causes a how can I say this? How can I say this in the nicest way possible? A potential tragedy could happen. So I don't know what it's going to be and what is the thing that they're going to face in the reconnaissance mission, but I guess only one way to find out is to actually play the game. Yeah. So one cool thing about this game is like the developers have been consistently mentioning that this game is a tribute to PC 98 games of the late 80s to the early 90s. So if anyone's curious on what is PC 98, it's basically it's just a computer that is not like IBM as it used to be in the past, but they were made by, let me if I can actually remember, but by NEC, I believe, yeah. And they actually lasted for quite a while. I think since its inception in the early 80s up until the early 2000s, I believe. Yeah. And there has been quite a certain aesthetic that these games have. They're all like pixel based, and they have this very retro style look, more akin to the 80s. So I'm honestly curious on how this tribute to the game, this tribute to the style of visual novels is going to fare in a game that's released this year. Also, hello Lindsay, welcome, good evening. Alright, without further ado, let's start. September 21st, Planetary Calendar 209. Following a raft of oppressive policies and crackdowns from the Earth-based government of the Solar Federation, the joint forces of the Martian territories and the Jovian Unified Colony Fleet rebelled. This conflict came to be known as the Solar War. Ooh. Okay, so I can definitely see some shades of Gundam in here. The war carried on for 3 years, but eventually the combined forces of the Martian territories and the Jovian Unified Colony Fleet managed to push the Federation military all the way back to planet Earth. In the final days of the conflict, a pitched battle was fought in lunar orbit that would decide the war's victor. Lunar orbit. Aboard the Jovian carrier JFS K-like. You reflexively tighten your grip on your armored frame twin flight sticks as another wave of vibrations reverberates through the cockpit. The creak of your new flight suit and your quickening breath are the only sounds that you hear above your gentle hum of the frame's subsystems. As you squeeze the controls tighter, their plastic casings creak under the pressure. You try and stay calm, knowing that these gentle vibrations are remnants of huge shock waves that are bulleting the K-like, the carrier that you're stationed on. Each one is a near miss as an explosion tears through the space around the ship. You try to push the thought from your mind, focus on controlling your breathing. You've already realized that their frequency must mean the K-like must be approaching the front line. Your squadron will be launching soon. You'll be engaging in your first real sortie. Your first real flight, in fact. You feel your throat tighten. Simulations are as good as the real thing. That's what your trainer told all of you. But you know that pilots are supposed to have hundreds of hours of live flights and training exercises in real armored frames before they're allowed anywhere near the front lines. Of course, that didn't happen. Command had told you that the modern simulators meant cadets could graduate without the need for these exercises. You'd overheard the rumors, though. The Jovian Colony Fleet had lost a lot of pilots and, still wanting to keep the pace with the Martian advance against Earth, had resorted to fielding anyone who could fight. Okay, so yeah, they're kind of desperate against fighting against the Martians. So anyone would do. Your whole squadron is just like you, freshly conscripted from Europa colony. You'd undergone basic training there, but almost all your flight training had taken place on the cruiser's journey from Jovian space. I wonder how the others are feeling right now, whether K-like 5, this is a flight deck. We're preparing your squad for takeoff. Running last-minute diagnostics on your frame. Activating all systems. Now. Alright, looks all good to go. We'll run a few more checks, then we'll have you spaceborne in a few minutes. Ready to show those Terrans who's boss? Okay, we got our first choices. Damn straight, ready to kick some ass or nothing. Yeah, let's be confident. Yeah, can't wait to get out of there. I'm gonna... You stammer, trying your best to convince not the engineer, but yourself that you're ready for what's waiting for you. Whoa, take a breathe there, K-like 5. It's not gonna be that bad out. No need to get all riled up here in the hangar. Tell you what, pilot, what's your name? What's your first name, pilot? Of course we're gonna go for the side. And what's your surname? Of course, we're not. And your pronouns? He, him. That is correct, yes. Okay, Ensign Najumu. First up, take a few deep breaths for me. In and out, nice and slow. You got that? You draw in one long measured breath and hold it, and release it. Following the engineer's instructions, you repeat this a few more times. After you begin, you feel... after a while, you begin to feel your pulse slow down. Some of the tension in your body slip away. You still feel on the edge, but slightly more in control. Alright, let me fix myself a little bit so you guys can see the text. There we go. Yeah, I think we should be good. Okay, let's keep going. Alright, there we go. Now listen up, Ensign. You ain't got a thing to worry about out there. Way I've heard it is that all the Terrans' best pilots were taken care of between here and Mars. Heck, Martians are the ones who've been leading the charge today, so they're the ones taking all the flak. Propaganda machines selling this as our decisive strike against Earth's last line of defense. But between you and me, it ain't nothing more than a mopping up situation. A buddy of mine in operations said as much in the canteen last night. Besides, you hear a dull ring over the comms and sit bolt upright in your seat, slouching back and exhaling as you realize it's nothing more than the engineer striking the cockpit armor on your frame. This beauty here's a work of art. Terran frames ain't got nothing on her. She's all tuned up and ready to go. Probably spent more time with this one than I have with my own kid. So don't you worry. Remember what they taught you in training. Leave the rest up to her, and you'll come out of this just fine. Despite your startled reaction a moment ago, the engineer's confidence is infectious, and it's starting to rub off on you. You adjust your position in your seat so that you're sat up straight. The soft hum of the frame system now seems more comforting than ominous. Just a mopping up operation, you think. Martians have done all the work, so we're sitting pretty here in our top-line frames. Yeah, nothing to worry about. So, Ensign Najumu, how are you feeling about things now? Feeling good. Ready to go. Yeah, I'm ready to get out there and kick some ass. You declare, channeling your newly tapped well of confidence. That's the spirit, Ensign. Now hang on to that and we'll have you out those hangar doors and kicking Terrans around in no time. Left alone with your thoughts, you tune in back into the gentle hum of the frame. Watch the seconds tick away on the cockpit clock whilst you wait for the order to launch. Wait seems to drag on and on. Carry out a few last-minute flight checks, as you already completed them when you boarded. Nothing has changed. Alright, pilots, listen up. This is K-Light 1. We've been cleared for launch, so be ready for immediate action. All frames will be taking off in designation order. Attack formation. Sound off. K-Light 2, ready. This is K-Light 3, ready. K-Light 4 here, ready for takeoff. K-Light 5, confirm your status. K-Light 5, standing by. Keep it together, K-Light 5. K-Light 6? K-Light 6, ready. Alright, K-Light Squadron, move out. Ooh, this looks pretty. K-Light 1, launching. K-Light 2, launching. K-Light 3, launched. K-Light 4, moving out. Ooh. Oh, they're going in. The roll call of your squadron as they depart from the ship and accelerate rapidly towards the combat zone sounds almost like a countdown to you. Once K-Light 4 declared their launch, you know your time has come. Disengage the restraints and prepare yourself. K-Light 5, launching! You shout as you slam the flight sticks forwards for maximum thrust. Oh. Uh-oh. K-Light 5, abort launch! Cut thrusters! K-Light 5, abort launch! Cut thrusters! The engineer's instructions barely register in the confusion as you're jerked around the cockpit. Your helmet slamming on the control panel as a brief moment of thrust throws you back into your seat before you whip forward again. Well, that escalated quickly. Warnings flash all over your monitors and sirens, and alerts sound from all over the cockpit. K-Light 5, abort launch! Abort launch and cut thrusters! It takes a few seconds for you to comprehend the engineer. Once you do, you quickly pull the flight sticks back into their neutral position. The roar of your frame's engines dies, and your cockpit regains its previous stillness. You wince as the metallic taste of blood fills your mouth. Wow! Okay, first day on the flight, and immediately he gets a malfunction on his mech. Hey, that's rough. Alright, K-Light 5. Hang tight for a moment. The frame's restraints didn't accept the disengage command, so you're still attached to the K-Light. We're going to need to run a diagnostic. Shouldn't take too long. Slump in the cockpit's chair and exhale deeply. Your heart's still pounding 1,000,000 beats per minute and your lips stinging. You continue to slow your breathing as you listen to the still open communications channel from the maintenance crew as they work to get your frame released. Hey, yeah, looks like your restraints disengage command didn't register. Yeah, Unit 5. Alright, yeah. Get Unit 6 out. No sense waiting for this one. Okay, start the diagnostic, then reboot if necessary. K-Light 6, launching! Oh man, that is rough. What do you mean hardware fault? We checked this 10 times since Mars at least. Who was assigned for Unit 5? Oh, fine, right. Shut down systems and run the diagnostic again. I want this frame out there in the next 5 minutes. K-Light 5, gonna shut down your frame systems for a moment so we can run diagnostics. Stay ready, though. We'll have you launching soon. K-Light 5. Understood. Ready and waiting. As your cockpit fades to darkness again, you release the flight sticks and suddenly realize how long you've been clenching your fists around. You flex your fingers and roll your shoulders, exhaling again as you begin to hear the muffled sounds of the engineers working on your frame's restraints. Staring at the dead monitor, you slowly begin to smile. This is what you wanted, wasn't it? You'd spent so long worrying about this mission that you'd thrown up twice in the past 24 hours. And now it looks like that was all for nothing. Damn! Thrown up twice? That's rough. Got what you wanted. We're safe. As safe as you can be. Strapped to the outside of a military carrier in an active armored frame, anyway. Your smile widens inadvertently at that thought. Getting shot down in an inactive frame still in its restraints, you become a cautionary tale for engineers and pilots throughout the entire Jovian colony fleet. Mind turns quickly to the rest of your squadron. They returned, you'd be the laughing stock of the entire K-Light. The pilot who'd spent their entire first mission stuck in a dark pit. You dodge a bullet. You'd never... This is K-Light 6. They cut off the flight path. There's more. There's a whole squadron of carriers coming in from E Field. K-Light 1, they're going to cut you off from the fleet. K-Light 6 signal disappearing as you sit bolt upright as you begin pressing buttons, trying to activate your cockpit's main monitor so you can see what's going on. However, with your frame system shut down remotely by the maintenance crew, you can do nothing but sit in the dark stillness and listen to the events unfold. K-Light 6! Respond! K-Light 6! What's going on? How many carriers are coming in from E-Field? Ma'am, K-Light 6 signal has been lost. It's not responding. Ma'am, he's... Oh, it's a woman? Whoops. Damn, I gave her such a deep voice. Wow. Okay, time to change the voice. Hold it together, K-Light 4. All units, form up. Defense formation on me. I said all units. K-Light 2. Break formation. Ma'am, they're firing on us. There's so many of them. Oh God, ma'am, help! In an instant, your communication channels is flooded with cries of terror and panic. You hear your squad mates, your fellow pilots, exclamations of fear as this unexpected enemy force bears down on them. Screams and yelps, wails and howls fill your head as you sit powerless in the dark confines of your cockpit. Well, I guess like fate has it for the pilot in K-Light 5 to survive and everyone else does it. Hey, who's out there? Engineering? Hey, get me ready. I can help. Get me ready to launch. Engineering? They're getting killed out there. I need to go now. You shout demands to get your frame ready for launch over the channel, but are met with no response. In the dark of the cockpit, with your controls unresponsive, you can't be sure whether the channel is closed or if no one is listening, with all the attention turned to receiving the battle damage units from your squad. Listen to me! Anyone! Get me out there! You desperately begin attempting a manual override of your systems and find that nothing responds to you. The only spark of life that you glean from your frame is a small diagnostics progress bar. I need to be out there! Anyone! Hey! One last desperate attempt, you begin hammering on your cockpit walls, hoping to get the attention of the engineers you could hear outside earlier. The entire time, the chaos of the combat out in space is narrated to you in broken fragments of radio chatter. And there's 3 more on me. I've lost my shield. I can't shake them. They're everywhere. The line of retreat's totally cut off. We can't get back to the ship. Ma'am, what do we do? What do we do? Stop panicking and form up. 3 and 4, on me. We're going to punch a hole through their formation and... Ma'am, come in. Ma'am, oh no, oh God, oh. By one, your squad's signals disappear, and the cacophony of panic disappears, replaced by the gentle hiss of static. You stop hammering on the side of your cockpit as the last voice is cut off. You're drenched in a cold sweat now, and your empty stomach feels like a rock has sunk to the bottom of it. You lean back and stare blankly ahead. This is K-like 5. Ready for takeoff. Damn. They got. That is... Yeah. Fate has not been kind to everyone who got into battle, that's for sure. September 21st, Planetary Calendar 209. Despite last-minute reinforcements for the Solar Federation from their headquarters on Earth, the battle above Lunar is a victory for the joint Martian and Jovian forces. This would be the final battle of the Solar War. Wow. They still won regardless. Okay. Having lost their last stronghold on Lunar, the Solar Federation agreed to a ceasefire and sign an armistice to end hostilities. An uneasy peace fills the solar system. With the conflict between the Solar Federation and the Martian-Jovian alliance concluded, the Kalak and her crew soon returned to the Europa colony near Jupiter. April 19th, Planetary Calendar 214. The reduced need for pilots away from the delicate space between Earth and Mars saw Ensign Najumu reassigned to security detail aboard various Jovian ships. He is eventually promoted to lieutenant. Wow, cool. 4 years have passed since the battle above Lunar. The Jovian colony fleet, fearing fresh aggression from Earth, has increased patrols near its colonies after picking up unusual signals coming from further out in the solar system. The patrol ship JFS Gundog is dispatched to support the JFS O'Brien in its investigation of these signals. Jovian space. Aboard the Jovian patrol ship JFS Gundog. Yeah, that's the main ship. Oh, there we go. We got the options. As the rumble of the Gundog's engines roaring to life reverberates through the ship, you clench your fists. It's been 4 years, and to this day, the sensation of tremors, whether they're ship engines, docking clamps, or weapon drills, still ties your stomach into knots. Well, yep, you got PTSD. Unfortunately, bad trait for a ship's security officer. Shake your head and exhale slowly, taking a moment before stowing the last of your possessions and pushing the drawer closed. You feel the click as it locks into place, and the exterior plastic paneling sits completely flush with its surroundings. Stepping back, you look around the room. You take another deep breath and hold it for a moment. Although this is far from your first posting as a security officer, you always felt the same sense of trepidation, if not anxiety. As similar as all the ships were, they all came with their own unique crews and personalities, and with those came unique problems. Breathing out, you take a look around the room, taking stock of your surroundings. Select the Look button to examine your surroundings by selecting items of interest. Select it again when you're done. Okay, look. Ah, this terminal lets me access the ship's computer. It's got a clock and a word processor, and even a calendar. I can also access records on my orders from here. For anything else, I need access to the core, which is limited to those in operations or command. Okay, what about this? It's just a normal storage unit. I travel light, so mine only has clothes in it. A standard cruise bunk. Once you slept in one, you've slept in them all. Although, this is one of the nicer ones I've been assigned to. The wall panel can be removed by jimmying it with a thin object, and crew members often stash contraband there. Looks like this one's not been touched, though. What about this? This let me controls the room lighting from the bed. I keep my books here, too. I'm currently reading the Tales of the Cosmic Champions series. Ooh, interesting name. Okay, what else are we gonna check around here? A door. A standard door with an electronic lock and a magnetic bolting system. Only way in or out unless you plan on getting creative and maintenance tunnels. Okay. I think we've seen everything in this room. Alright. Select the Use button to interact with your surroundings by selecting specific objects to use them. Select the button again when you're done. Okay, use. Use this? Oh, looks like I've been instructed to report to the bridge to meet the captain. I haven't met anyone since my transport to the spaceport ran late. I just about made it on board before launch. Select the Move button to move to a different location from a list of options. If you change your mind, select the button again. Okay. Is there anything else we can use? I'm only just boarded, and it's still the middle of the day based on Jovian Standard Time. There's nothing in here right now that I need. Just my uniforms, and some toiletries. For the door. Move to crew quarters corridor 1? Yes. You step out into an empty corridor, and the door to your quarters gently hisses shut behind you. Its keypad gives a short series of beeps, and you hear the lock engage. The dull thumb of the ship's system is barely audible, but otherwise, you are stood in total silence. The air is cooler outside of your quarters, and the corridor has a sterile lack of aroma. This has been the same on every ship you've been stationed on, and at this point, it doesn't surprise you. Okay, so this is a Swift-class patrol vessel. Means if I leave this quarters block, I'll be in Foresight Thoroughfare. When I go right towards aft, I'll arrive at the central hub, and then I can head to the bridge. Now let's look around first. Hansen Cruise. Harurumi. Doesn't sound familiar. Dalton Grange. Not someone I've met before. Oh yeah, these are hell of a Gundam-esque names. They don't make any sense, and you never get to hear these names often. Yep, I can see the inspiration. What about this one? Dylan Dees. Can't say I've run into them on any other ship. Dees! Oh man. I guess this guy is probably, yeah, I don't know if in this future there's a lot of these, or rather these jokes, but I feel sorry for his father of having that kind of name. Oh yeah, we can't look anymore. Okay, we gotta move. Let's go to Foresight Thoroughfare. Let's go. You leave the crew block behind you, and you find yourself in a much larger corridor that stretches off to your left, and with multiple smaller corridors leading from it. To your right, the corridor leads to a large, plaza-like space. A very faint breeze coming from your left ruffles your hair and chills you slightly. Hear the sounds of human activity. Ooh, we're gonna talk to someone? On the right, you can hear the hum of the ship's engines more clearly now, as well as the occasional low, quiet whirring sound. Looks like I was right. This portion of the thoroughfare will let me access both sets of crew quarters, the mess hall, the hangar, and the central hub. From there, I can access the rest of the ship's areas. I should hurry up to meet the captain before I look around anywhere else. Okay, let's go to the central hub. As you enter the central hub, you hear a low whirring noise. The engines grow louder. You can see readabouts above one of the elevators change. I think you know someone is using it to travel to another part of the ship. Looking around, you see the entrances to both the fore and aft side thoroughfares, as well as the corridor to the airlocks. These elevators will take me to the bridge where the captain will be. Shouldn't waste any more time. Alright, let's go. Let's go to the thoroughfare. Oh wait, no. Bridge. Knowing that you need to report to the captain, who at this point of the ship's journey should be stationed on the bridge, you make your way towards the elevators and press the call button. You step back and watch the indicators above each elevator, waiting for each one to arrive. As you wait, your mind begins to wander, and you're caught unaware as you feel something suddenly jab into your back, and a voice behind you declares, "Oh, hey, Amare. Hello. Welcome. Good morning or good evening, depending on your time zone. Hope you are well today." I saw the post you made on Blue Sky about this game, and the image looks interesting. Oh, yeah. It's super old school. Like, super old school inspired. Like, PC 98 inspired. And since the PC 98 came out in the 80s, it also makes sense that the aesthetic is also 80s-esque. Hey Rayquaza, hello, good evening. It's quite late for me, but I'm a night owl, so it's fine. Oh, okay. If you feel like you want to get some rest, you want to get some sleep, then feel free to whenever you can. The archive will always be there. Hands in the air. Identify yourself. Your posture stiffens as you snap back to reality, caught completely off guard by the voice behind you. Thoughts race through your mind as you try to figure out what's going on. Could it be another security detail on board? That shouldn't be possible. As far as you knew, you were the only one. Unless... I said hands in the air, punk! You tentatively raise your hands, palms flat and facing forwards. Whatever has been thrust into the small of your back is removed slowly as you hear the person behind you take a step backwards. You exhale and begin to turn around. Lieutenant Najumu, security detail, ID SO 254 JFSG. I'm on my way to meet the captain to... Oh, hey, she's cute. Were you been expecting a gruff crew member? Instead, you met with a bright and cheery officer waving a pen around with a large smile on her face. You're taken aback for a moment, as this isn't just any officer. This is... Cassie! What are you... Whoa! Sigh, I've missed you so much. Wow. You big doofus. I should have seen your face when you turned around. You were all... I love that face you make when you think you're in trouble. It's like you think you're playing the big soldier will get you out of trouble. It's so cute. Lieutenant Commander Cassandra Quinn. Should have known, really. She's always been one for bad jokes and stupid pranks as long as you've known her. Her less than professional attitude and penchant for irresponsibility is the reason why, despite her talents, she's not commanding a ship of her own. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good did I get you? You totally thought you were being busted, right? But if you're being honest, her playful nature is what attracted you to her in the first place. You've been dating for nearly 2 years now, but a lot has been over electronic mails or in letters. Your postings have never lined up. Now, Cassie, what are you doing here? I think you were stationed on the Reliant. You never said you were being transferred. What happened? Well, the thing about that is, you might say that a disagreement with the head of operations on the Reliant led to a lateral trajectory for my career. In other words, she got the boot. Cassandra, please. Okay, so maybe when it came time to change the ship's cybersecurity passwords, I couldn't be bothered to spend all day sitting in the computer core, waiting for it to generate new codes, so I just changed all the existing passwords by a single digit. Wow. That surely is very helpful, Cassie. Nicely done. You place your face in your hands as a dull groan rises from the back of your throat. This is the first time you've heard a story like this. Oh, she is pawn? I see. She's not only lazy, but she seems to be pawn as well. She has that expression. It's perfect. And maybe it turns out when they run cybersecurity drills, they assume that the enemy have your old passwords. So try brute forcing from those, and maybe that meant the ship was compromised in 0.5 seconds. Yeah, I can see why you were kicked off the Reliant, Cassie. That is not a job well done. But at least they found out I'd done that in a drill and not in a real engagement, right? I basically saved the entire ship in advance. I like your positivity. That's all I'm gonna say. Surprised you're still even stationed on a ship. Why are you not stuck back in a records room at Europa colony right now? Well, I probably shouldn't tell you this, but if I can't trust you, who can I trust? Turns out that this mission was organized at really short notice, and the Gundog was the only ship available. The problem was that they'd been having issues with the crew, so they had to transfer some in short notice. Lucky for me that I'd so recently been made available. So it's just a series of coincidences. Yeah, now I know why the synopsis of the game mentions, like, something weird is going to happen. Surely Cassie is not going to be behind this. That's weird. I'd only just been stationed on Oh. Uh-oh. The game crashed. Wow, I thought the game was just paused, but it crashed. All right, let's run it again. Oh no, why is it small? Hold on. Did it autosave though? I hope it did. Let's see. Let me change the size. Yeah, I should go here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, now it's bigger. Oh, whoops, I accidentally turned up the interdimensional interference too strong. Sorry, Sai. Damn it, Amari. Why'd you do that? Okay, can we load? Oh, there we go. We got quick save, right? Yeah, there is quick save, which is which is nice, I guess. Okay, I guess we'll speed through this. Okay, can we speed through this? Yeah. Okay, sorry, Cassie. Gonna have to speed through this. Yeah, we didn't lose too much progress, thankfully. Oh. Okay, let's go back. Okay, let's go back and continue because we actually skipped a lot. Okay, so let's continue reading. That's weird. I'd only been stationed on the Duke, so I shouldn't have been free to be transferred. Okay, you figured it out. I may have used one of my contacts from the Academy who works in resource to transfer you over here. Also, it's her fault we're here as well. Okay, Cassie. Pretty sure you know every regulation you broke by doing that. Oh, what was I supposed to do? Get stationed to some tiny ship heading out to the middle of nowhere with no one I know on the crew? We haven't seen each other in months. Aren't you glad to see me? Of course I'm glad to see you. I missed you too, you know. It's been a long time. You don't become part of the Reliance Operations Department without some serious talent. I'm not going anywhere. Oh, you said you were on your way to see the captain, right? Have you had a chance to take a look around the ship yet? No, not yet. I was going to... Great! I'll show you around. I've been here a few days, so I basically know the ship like the back of my hand. Where do you want to go first? I was on my way to see the captain. I felt the engine start up, so I know we're launching soon, and I thought I should probably report in as soon as possible. Oh, don't worry about that. I already logged you on board, so it's just a formality now. Besides, Captain Bartermuse isn't exactly a stickler for procedure, so we can check out anywhere you want before we head up there. Oh, alright. In that case, great! This is going to be the best tour you've ever been on. By the time it's over, you'll have seen every inch of the ship and met everyone on board. It's been so long since we last saw each other, too. We definitely need to take time to stop by my quarters and get reacquainted. You now have access to every area of the Gundog. Select the talk button to view a list of who is available to talk to. If you change your mind, select the talk button again. You look around the central hub as Cassandra already begins to make her way to your first destination, waving at you to follow. It might be a small ship, you think, but now would be the perfect opportunity to learn its layout and familiarize yourself with where you're spending your current duty. Plus, you admit, it wouldn't hurt to meet all the crew. Better to get to know them sooner rather than later. Okay, you gonna talk to someone? Let's talk to Cassandra. You know, it's kind of funny now that I think about it. What is? This area is called the Central Hub, but to be honest, the only places you can get straight away from here are the airlock, sickbay, or the bridge. Well, it's right in the middle of the ship, so it connects everything together via the two thoroughfares, right? Kind of, but if you want to get to engineering, to do some mechanical work, you've got a long way to go that way. Then if you want to do pretty much anything else, you've got to go to the other way. Four-side thoroughfare is way more of a hub, since you get to all sorts of places quickly. Get some snacks from the mess hall to take you back to your quarters? Easy. If you want a quick soda whilst taking audit in the hangar, you're there and back in no time. You should move the bridge to the front of the ship. Sounds to me like you just want a vending machine on the bridge. Hey, that's not a bad idea. But still, it's a long way to get to the other end of the ship, no matter where you're going from. How would you solve that problem? Maybe change the shape of the ship so the center is really in the center? It's space, so you could make it a really efficient shape like a cube or something. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this game was made somewhere in Europe because, you know, that's definitely British English or European English. A cube? I guess it could be efficient, but I don't think anyone would take a cube-shaped ship seriously. Okay? So, let's move. Let's go to the airlock. And this is the main airlock. It's the main way to get on and off when the ship is docked. Thanks, but I've already been here. Oh, really? When? Actually, I think I'm confusing it with somewhere else. What else can you tell me? Well, it's got one of the best views on the ship for one thing. You look around but can't see any windows. Wouldn't expect it on a military vessel where an inclusion like that could compromise the structure. Here? Really? Yeah, really. Check it out. Cassandra strides over to the terminal set into the wall next to the airlock hatch and quickly begins typing commands into it. You hear a sequence of beeps and she stands back, gesturing proudly to the screen. Not too bad, huh? You look at the screen, but all you can see is a dark display with a few errant pixels suspended on it. Is that working? Of course it's working. Look! You stare a little harder at the screen, and although it takes you a moment, you eventually realize it's an external feed. That's right. Normally you can only see out of the gun dock from either the bridge or the hangar. But the ship's covered in small cameras for combat situations. You can access the feeds from the terminals around the ship. That's actually pretty cool. But isn't the view from the bridge or the hangar better? Because, because you're actually looking out? Well, maybe. There's always someone else around. You never get the view to yourself. No one ever comes here, and it's so quiet. It's almost like you're out there. Guess I can see what you mean. It's pretty quiet out this way, and with a fancy screen like that, it's basically the real view. I knew you'd understand. I'll add the command to your terminal access. That way you can come out here and see the stars whenever you want. Thanks. Okay, let's look around. What is this? These space suits for emergencies only. Every crew member has an assigned suit that's stored near their main station. These suits here are in case of evacuation when these stations are inaccessible. Seems like the devs are located in Shanghai, but they have an office in Canada too, which probably explains the British Spanish. Ah! Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Wow, they're Chinese devs. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Alright, what about this? This is the main crew air block for crew uses. It's used to load and offload basic supplies and equipment. Everything else is brought in through the hangar airlock. Anything else? Underneath that panel is the manual control for the external airlock hatch, just in case of mechanical or power failure. I had to open one as part of a drill before. It's not easy. What is this? Aside from the fact it controls the airlock, it's a terminal like any other. But with the silence, I suppose this one's good for getting a relaxing view of the stars. Okay, I guess we can move. Central hub, and then we move to the aft thoroughfare. As the two of you leave the central hub behind you and travel down the aft side thoroughfare, the hum of engines continue to grow louder. You'd effectively filtered the noise out in the rest of the ship. As you get closer to the rear, its volume increased considerably. The engine's supposed to be that loud? Are the what? I said, are the engines supposed to be that loud? The what? I said, are the engines... I heard you the first time. I'm just messing with you. God, Cassie is such a troll. What the hell? Okay. I'm liking this girl already. I'm liking her already. You could have fooled me. I've never been on a ship where the engines are so noticeable. Is it supposed to be like that? Supposed to? No, not really. But the Gundam is a Swift class, a type of patrol ship that's designed for rapid response. They're made to cover large areas of space quickly and offer basic assistance to ships in distress. That, or to be the first on the scene to gather intel and issue warnings if anyone comes too close to Jovian space. Which means, design-wise, they prioritize speed above everything else. I guess the best way to sum it all up is that the Gundam is basically a huge set of engines with a tiny ship strapped to them. Well, that's reassuring. Oh, it's fine. It just means that there's no space for systems like motion dampeners or soundproofing. You'll miss it when you leave. Okay, let's look at something. What is this? Down that corridor is the armory where all the ship's firearms are stored. Normally, access has to be granted for the bridge, but since you're the security officer, you got access coded into your keycard. This looks very old school. Yes, it is strongly inspired by PC-98 games. PC-98, which is a series of PCs that NEC made in the early 80s up until 2003, I think. Yeah. And it definitely has that 80s aesthetic, which is why it's like all pixels, and even the music is like 8-bit as well. Okay. What else can we see? Well, I guess we'll need to move. That way leads to the engineering block. From there, you can access the engine room, the main computer, and most of the ship's systems. Although you won't be going anywhere near those systems if the chief has anything to say about it. Okay, fair. Let's move to the armory. The art style feels very 80s, 90s anime as well. Yep, that's the intention. You swipe your keyboard through the card reader set into the terminal by the armory's door. Instead of the door opening as you would expect, you hear a harsh tone from the terminal. Oh. Looking at its screen, you see a message displayed in large flashing letters. Access denied. Insufficient authority. It looks like your clearance hasn't been fully processed yet. You'll have to meet the captain before you can get into that room. Engineering? Whoa. As the two of you continue through the aft thoroughfare, the thrum of the engines grows louder still. The featureless paneling that had made up the majority of the ship's interior quickly gives way to visible pipes and conduits, and eventually, smooth flooring transitions to grating, revealing more workings underfoot. Also, there is some pretty strong Gundam influences there as well. Especially when at the start of the game there was like war between the Terrans and the Solar Federation / the Terrans and the Jovians and the Martians. Finally, the thoroughfare leads into one huge open chamber filled with masses of machinery. Terminal panels set into the side of various apparatus cycle through different readings, Light from the screens reflected off ducts and valves. All this equipment is separated by a grid of catwalks and access ladders. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. How very insightful. A lot of stuff is right. This is central engineering. Pretty much every system aside from the engines themselves and the central computer can be found in this room. All in one place? Isn't that a little risky? Well, a swift class ship relies on an absolutely minimal crew. The Gundog only has 2 engineers. I think they figured it'd be easier on them if everything that was important was kept in one place. The way they don't have to run from one end of the ship to another to get all their repairs done if something goes wrong. Huh. You certainly know a lot about ship engineering. What can I say? I'm a pretty talented individual. Oh yeah? Whilst we're here, you can share some of that knowledge. What's that over there? That's the phonetic conversion unit. And what's that? Oh, that's the omnifaceted wane shaft. What the absolute hell is this girl talking about? What is girl talking about? Omnifaceted wane shaft? That's the first time I ever heard of that. She's making stuff up. Uh-huh. What about that? That's the turbo encabulator? Every day's a school day. I'm head of operations, not chief engineer, okay? I don't need to know what. Hey, no one better be screwing around up there. You both jump as a stern voice barks at you from below. Looking down, you see through the grating that there's another catwalk situated below the one you're stood on, with a crew member moving at speed towards the ladder that joins the 2 walkways. I swear, if I find so much as a single terminal readout of place, I'm stuffing the 2 of you into the organics processing system. Have to retrieve one more pen from behind the compressors. The crew member continues to grumble as they ascend. Oh. Twin, you better not be here to tell me that your favorite pen has somehow fallen into the system block again. Ah, no, Chief. Got it right here. Damn straight you do. Now make sure you hang on to that one, or you're going to need someone to pull you out of the system block instead. And who's this? Our wayward security officer? You got a name there? You quickly throw a sharp salute at the woman in front of you without even checking her rank first. Not only does she loom over you physically, but you quickly pick up on a force of personality that feels like it adds an extra 6 inches to her considerable stature. Lieutenant Najumu, security officer for the JFS Gundog. Ma'am! Less of that ma'am business, Najumu. My name is Mackenzie Cathis. Cafes, chief engineer. But that's chief to you. Ah, yes, my chief. Damn straight. Now what are you 2 doing here in engineering? I was just giving Lieutenant Najumu a tour of the ship, Chief. That's so. You never been on a ship before, Lieutenant? First assignment? That's so. Which strike vessels? The JFS Victory and JFS Thunderbolt, Chief. Victory and Thunderbolt, huh? Don't think either of those 2 are less than 3 years old, so probably wouldn't have seen what the new streamlined distribution systems. Wonder if you would see the power coils, though. I think the Victory was part of that production. You and Cassandra exchanged a quick, nervous glance as the chief, what previously seemed like she was about to physically throw both of you out of engineering, suddenly begins a conversation with herself. Continue to stand to a nervous attention as she ruminates about ship components. Chief, is there anything I can help you with about those ships? Oh, huh? Lieutenants? Didn't realize you were here. No, you're off to the hook. You're off the hook, Najumu. Unless you can tell me whether the Victory was outfitted with the 3rd generation B-Pack upgrades anyway. Sorry, Chief. Don't think I could. Wonder if that's because the retrofitting takes into account space availability in the ship's interior for minimal traversal impact. Although maybe it could be that it takes... I think now would be a good time for us to move on. Good idea. Okay, we met the chief. Let's look around. What is this? There's so much machinery in here. If what Cassie says is true, and that all the ship's systems are packed in here, it could be anything. It's certainly giving off a lot of heat, though. There's so much machinery in here. If what Cassie says is true, and then all the ship's systems are packed in here, be anything. Certainly giving off a lot of heat, though. That's the power distribution model. Ah! Oh, Chief. It's you? What is it? Ah! Oh, Chief, it's you. What is it? The power distribution model. We're still situated above the Gundog's main reactor, and this is the system which distributes the power to all the ship's various systems. Oh, is that? Right. Okay. so much going on in here that I've got no idea what anything is. This could be a waste of processing it, or it could be life support. Ah! Oh, sorry, Chief. Oh, what was that? This unit's part of the life support system. Too bad. To be exact, this part is an assessment center of sorts. It continuously samples the atmosphere on board the ship to ensure that it's an optimum level to keep us all alive. Oh, huh? Alright, where shall we go next? What do we have here? Part of the life support system for the ship. The chief says that this part samples the atmosphere to make sure everything's at the right levels. That door leads to one of the ship's engine rooms. There's another engine room on the other side of the ship. It's not an efficient layout when you're running tests on the systems, but it's what they thought would work best in terms of keeping a swift compact. Oh, thanks, Chief. That's the ship's power distribution mode. The chief told me it takes power from the ship's reactor and sends it all over the ship. Okay, what else can we check? What's this? That door leads to one of the ship's engine rooms. There's another engine room on the other side of the ship. It's not exactly an efficient layout when you're running tests on systems, but it's what they thought would work best in terms of keeping a swift comp. Oh, thanks, Chief. She's so jelly. Okay, central computer. You swipe your keycard through the card reader set into the terminal by the door leading to the central computer. The door doesn't open, and instead you hear a harsh drone from the terminal, which is now displaying the error message. Looking at its screen, you see a message displayed in large flashing letters. Access denied. Insufficient authority. Oh, even with your security cleaners, you won't be able to go into the main computer room. Because the staff is so small. The ship's computer handles a lot of tasks that I would normally done by the crew. Because the staff is so small, the ship's computer handles a lot of tasks that would normally be done by the crew. Controls a lot of sensitive functions, so only the captain and the operations team are allowed access. Oh? I don't think any of the ships I've been had a computer system like this. The bigger ships usually have their computing distributed amongst multiple systems across the ship. But, because they also got larger crews, there's more than the people on board are responsible for. Oh, oops. Because of that, it's a lot more vital that no one screws around with it. You see, you said that operations have access. Can we take a look using your authority? Well, since the whole reason I'm here is that I didn't exactly take my responsibilities with the Reliant computer system seriously, the captains told me not to mess around with it. Ah. But it's not that interesting anyway. Okay. Let's move. Let's move to the engines. The two of you watch from around the corner as Chief Cathy's continues to mutter herself, paces back and forth, checking terminal readouts and various displays. Eventually, she heads down to the ladder that she climbed to confront you. Now out of sight, Cassandra darts towards the engine room, gesturing you over. Okay, checking over your shoulder in case the chief has reappeared, you make your way to her, just in time for the doorway to the engine room to open and Cassandra to disappear inside before you can raise an objection. Well, it's gotta be better than staying here with the chief. The room you find yourself in is in a similar size to the area you just left. But whilst that was crammed full of a huge range of machinery, this room is almost entirely filled by one colossal cylindrical device. The pulse of the engine is now a tangible sensation, as the vibrations it emits shakes your whole body. So, this is the main engine. Well, one of them anyway. My chief said the ships outlived those two with two of these. I know. I look at it, and I feel like you could probably fit the rest of the ship in this room if the engine weren't there. That's because it's impossible to get the Higgs field distortion drive any smaller. Ah! Chief! Chief, I know you said that, So these engines are actually a combination of nuclear pulse engines built around a Higgs field distor, then drive. If the HFDD wasn't here for this engine, then this engine could have been about 10 times smaller than it is. Although I hear they managed to improve the efficiency of newer NPEs, so it's possible that the space saving could be more like 11 times small. Can either of you two tell me how a HFDD works? HFDD? Higgs field distortion drive? What are they teaching you at the academy? Distortion drive, like Blaze Blue, I guess? It's a drive that allows me to move far beyond spells allowed by conventional engines, though it's nowhere near as faster than light. Sorry. Yeah, the mouse actually did a double skip. Alright, let's read this. It's what lets us get around the solar system without needing to worry whether we'll live long enough to see the end of the journey. It's what lets us get around the solar system. Yeah, we already read that. Anyway, everyone knows about the existence of the Higgs field. It's what allows interactions with the Higgs boson that gives particles their mass. Alright. So what the drive does is warp the field relative to the ship and those on board. By doing that, it displaces the mass to a different area of space, but within the same relative.
As the chief continues on with her explanation, you glance at Cassandra and see a thinly veiled look of terror on her face. You can't blame her, as you feel much the same way caught in this impromptu lecture. That because the particles retain their relationship with each other, the general perception is that things are the same as normal. However, from an exterior perspective, the lecture drags on, and you quickly lose track of Chief's explanation. Although you recognize the words she's saying, you can no longer make sense of the context, and they come to seem like a meaningless string of sounds. Yeah, too much yapping. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the field is, it's got the mass which is pushed? No. How do I put it? Okay, so I'm gonna imagine space is a ketchup packet and you're the sauce. The sauce? Right, the sauce. Now, what the distortion drive does, it's like a thumb on the universe of the packet. It moves the source around by changing the shape of the pocket to push the source. You've got it. You quickly glance back at Cassandra and meet her eyes as she's doing the same thing. You know for certain that neither of you have got it. And that's why these engines have to be big, have to be so big. To house that drive. Oh, it makes all sense now. Let's see. Yes, definitely. Great. Well, now that you appreciate the silence behind it, I won't have to throw you out of here. Thanks, Chief. Anytime. Just remember, Lieutenant. Yes, Chief? Screw with anything and I'll throw you out of the airlock instead. Well, it makes sense. Yes, Chief. Sauce? Sauce. Alright. Let's go to the central computer. Cassandra said that on the ship, only the captain has access to the central computer. I don't know what I even do in there, so there's no real point for me to going in anyway. Let's go back to the thoroughfare. Go back to the central hub. And let's go to sickbay. The elevator doors hiss open, and you both sleep into a wide open room. You're immediately struck by the glare of the high-powered lights that are set into the ceiling, and just as you regain your vision, a powerful aroma of clinical disinfectant burns at your nostrils. Looking around, you see the standard features of a sickbay. Set of beds that extrude from the wall, one outside a large gallery window set into the wall on the other, indicating the presence of a surgery wing. The walls are lined with cupboards and cabinets containing medical supplies, and various devices sit on countertops. In the middle of the room is a large desk set to face the entrance. On the side closet to you are 2 chairs, and the other sits in a figure that you almost mistake for a piece of medical equipment until they... What voice can we give him? Let's see. Miss Gwyn, excellent timing. I just finished the analysis of your... Hey, Doc, don't worry about that right now. I'm giving a tour to our new security officer. Very good, Miss Gwyn. Hello, Lieutenant Najumu. I'm the ship's doctor, Safer Rosarium. I've reviewed your file already, so please feel free to stop by with any complaints. But since you're here, Miss Gwyn, I'd like to hear you talk about your gastro... Honestly, Doctor, it's fine. We can talk about it. Interesting. Doctor, later. Distress. Okay, Doctor, a moment, please. Honey, if you just give me a few minutes with the doctor. Yeah, no problem. Cassandra grabs the doctor by his sleeve and drags him over to the surgery wing, while yanking him through behind her. Once the door closes, you can't hear them, but you can still see the 2 through the gallery. You decide to turn your attention away and examine a nearby poster on space illnesses. Yes, thank you, Doctor. I understand. So that includes any synthetic meats or carbohydrates. Understood. But as I've explained, I've got a full supply of Nutri-Shake powders that should serve as a balanced replacement for the meals from the fruit vendor and should alleviate you. Doctor? This tour is moving on. Alright, let's move. But first, we need to actually look. All of those cupboards and cabinets are jam-packed with different medical supplies. So I guess it's good to have it all on hand. Those beds are for patients who need to stay in sickbay for whatever reason. All the monitors behind them are to display patients' vital statistics. It's rare you'll see one used. A portion of the sick bay is separated off for surgical procedures. It has its own separate environmental controls and is completely sealed from the rest of the ship when in use. I mean, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. You want to actually do surgery or something like that, couldn't afford to have interruptions. So it makes a lot of sense. Okay, what else are we going to check out? What is this? That portion of the sick bay is separated. Oh. It also contains robotic assistant units. It's state of the art, but you'd still never want to end up in there. Okay, move. Central hub. Bridge. You step from the elevator onto the bridge, and what seems to have been a pretty quiet atmosphere turned totally silent. The two women present, who have been previously observing a screen, turn to face you. Oh! Oh, damn, she looks pretty cool. Damn, we got a lot of cool designs in this. You identify the captain almost immediately by her uniform, although you are given pause to wonder if you are misjudged as she listlessly straightens up and heads over to you with an air of disinterest. The other woman shoots you a look, but remains seated at her station, quickly turning away when she realizes you've caught her looking your way. The curtness of her reaction catches you off guard. She quickly returns to what she'd been doing before you entered. Hopefully, Cassie's presence can thaw what you may feel might be a cold reception. Okay, that's an interesting pun. Lieutenant Najumu entering the bridge and reporting for formal assignment. You declare, throwing a sharp salute with Cassandra, quickly following suit. Lieutenant Commander Cassandra Quinn, entering the bridge in accompaniment of Lieutenant Najumu. You're taken aback slightly as you realize that you've hardly ever seen Cassie be serious about anything, even her position. Whenever she's had to talk about her assignments, it's always been dismissive or in a joking way. You're caught so off guard that you almost miss the captain addressing you. What kind of voice can we give her? I guess maybe British. Sure, because this is Europe colony, so at least we should have someone who's potentially European. At ease, Lieutenant. Lieutenant Commander. You and Cassie both lower your salutes and loosen your posture slightly. There's a slight pause where you can tell the captain is sizing you up. This informational assessment lasts a little bit longer than you're comfortable with until Captain releases a heavy sigh. Welcome aboard, Lieutenant. I was beginning to get worried that the notification we'd had that you'd come aboard had been a system issue. I trust that you haven't had too hard of a time finding your way to the bridge to introduce yourself. No, ma'am. I was just... Glance over to Cassandra, who's maintaining a completely straight face. We can check out anywhere you'd want before we head up there. Yeah, right. You fix your gaze straight ahead. This wouldn't be the first time that Cassandra has lacked it. I was just familiarizing myself with the ship in case I came up with any queries that I could field to you. Oh, is that so? Well, anything you'd like to ask? Oh, ma'am. Very good. Well, I'm glad you could make it. Eventually. This mission is an urgent one. It's why we departed as soon as you came aboard without a formal reception. Thinking about it, it was unusual that there hadn't been a formal onboarding process beyond the dock staff checking your ID and guiding you up onto the gun dog. We not realized it in your rush, but now it was obvious. But it did make sense that if this was an argument dispatch, the ship would launch The ship would launch as soon as all of its crew were on board. My apologies, ma'am. My transport was running late. Yes, we've been sent word that that wouldn't have anything to do with you, would it? No, ma'am. There was a breakdown on the... Anyway, Lieutenant, I'd like to take the opportunity to formally welcome you to the JFS Gundam. My name is Captain Mary's Bartermuse. I run as tight a ship as you'd expect, and I anticipate that you carry out your duties to the same standard. Yes, ma'am. From experience, the most onboarding procedures have involved greetings and speeches from the captain that have ranged from serious to almost ceremonial. In comparison, Captain Bartermuse introduction is almost lethargic. Your card, Lieutenant. The item button will activate when you are able to use items that are in your inventory. Oh, it's like a real point and click game. Okay. In some cases, you will need you need to use an item to proceed, but in others, whether you use an item or not is up to you. When possible, select the item button to open the inventory, then select the item to use it. To dismiss the inventory select the item button again. Your card, Lieutenant. She inspects it for a moment before taking it to a control panel near the captain's chair. You remain in position, quite at ease, but not quite at attention. You watch as she enters some commands into the console and inserts your card into a slot. There is a whirring sound, followed by a series of beeps before your card is ejected and the captain takes it back. By selecting the function button, you can now access a map of the ship, allowing you to move from one location to another without visiting areas in between. Oh, that's cool. If an event happens somewhere on the way, you will move to that location instead. Wow, that's pretty convenient. You can also view their current objectives and other important information. To return, select the function button again. Okay, so... yes, we'll do function. Where to... Oh, there's task? Okay. Okay, introduce yourself, visit the armory, visit the captain quarters, catch up with Cassandra. Oh, we got fire control, the hangar, the mess hall. Okay. That's cool. With this, Lieutenant Najumu, you now have access to all areas and authorities befitting the ship's security detail. Your responsibilities begin with immediate effect. Thank you, ma'am. You are also now authorized to take an appropriate electroshock weapon from the armory. If you have any further questions, and you know where to find me, dismissed. Alright, yes ma'am, that's an achievement. Alright, I'll be right back. I'm gonna do a little bit of stretching, and then we'll continue. Be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. Alright, now let's check our function and see where else we could go to. But before that, can we actually do anything else? Oh, there's information here as well. Alright. Okay, so where shall we go to? Let's go to the armory. You swipe your keycard through the card reader set into the terminal by the armory's door. There's a slight delay, but quickly enough the terminal flashes the message, "Access granted," and the door slides open. First thing you notice about the armory is that the benches and lockers remind you of the changing rooms from the training center back at the military academy on Europa Colony. As you walk past them, you take a closer look and realize they're the same kind of benches used on larger ships you've been stationed on, the ones with the sports facilities and changing rooms on board. Instead of sports clothing and equipment, these lockers are filled with a selection of combat gear, body armor or electroshock weapons to a variety of small and light weapons. You know, this is the first time I've actually been inside a ship's armory. It's not really surprising. It's the only security detail that would have access. Even in a situation where a ship's expecting to encounter a boarding party, its security's responsibility to distribute weaponry to the crew in advance. It's to ensure there is no panic and that crew don't get a hold of weaponry they're not trained to use. Huh. That's standard regulation. You should know that. Well, all I remember from my firearm training was when I dropped my electroshock weapon and accidentally zapped one of the other girls from operations. Our trainer made me use a hand-cranked battery charger to recharge all the power packs as punishment. That must have taken forever. You bet, but you should have seen my gun show afterwards. Pew pew! Which reminds me, the captain said I was authorized to collect my sidearm. I should get it whilst I'm here. Alright. Look. The spacesuits here are for the ship's security detail. They're a little bit more robust than the suits handed out to the rest of the crew for obvious reasons. But aside from that, they don't offer that much of a tactical advantage. This locker contains a variety of small arms and light weapons. They're only for use against external hostile forces, even when their stopping power is relatively low because of the dangers of using live rounds inside a ship. Anything else we can check out? Nope. Use. Accessing a weapon locker sends an automatic alert to the bridge. Even if I wanted to examine the weaponry, I wouldn't want to set it off on an alarm without telling anyone what I was doing. There's no reason to use those now. They're a real pain to put back as well. We'll use this. Use. Oh, whoops. I should be getting the weapon here. There we go. This is the weapons locker with the electroshock weapons. I'm authorized to take one small weapon from here as part of my role as a security officer. This one will do. You've got an electroshock gun. What's that? It's just my standard issue duty weapon for my role as a security officer. It fires a barred projectile that contains a miniature battery. It's not lethal, but more than enough to stop someone in their tracks. I see. Absolutely not. Aw, come on. She wanted to use it. Oh man, this girl. Yeah, see, she can use it so she would basically shock the entire ship, or shoot somewhere like sensitive in the ship that may cause it to self-implode or something. Alright, let's look at the tasks. Yeah, we did go to the armory. Oh, there's still the other bridge officer. Okay. So let's go back the bridge. Let's talk to Vanessa. Okay, so what voice are we gonna give to her? Are you Scottish? Oh, we could do that. We could do that. Excuse me, Lieutenant. I'm currently on duty, so I'd appreciate if you did not disturb me. Lieutenant Najumu is the ship's head of security. Since I'm here, you can take the time to introduce yourself formally. Great! I've got this. See you in 5. So you're the security officer that Cassandra's been going on about? That's right. Lieutenant Najumu. Pleased to meet you. Well, I'm Vanessa Lord. I serve on this bridge as part of operations. Cassandra's told me a lot about you. Is that right? What kind of... I'm disappointed that you're nowhere near as attractive as she made you out to be. Oh, is that, right? I thought it was too good to be true, that some dashing officer will be transferred here at the last moment. Instead, we just got another lunk. Well, how was it that you even got transferred here on such short notice? I was looking over your records earlier, and you were mid-assignment on the Duke. How would they transfer you instead of... Whoa, hey, look at the time. I think your break's over. Lieutenant Commander Quinn, I think Vanessa needs to go back to her station. Of course. I hope this is the start of a productive working relationship between the two of you. Vanessa, I'll catch up with you later, okay? Pleasant company. Yeah, I think having a Scottish accent is perfect. She's a grump. And well, you know. Sorry to anyone Scottish watching this, by the way. Okay, so where shall we go to? Visit the captain's quarters. Okay. So we shall go... Captain's quarters. Yes. As you head away from the central hub, the noise from the engines becomes quieter, and the ambient temperature feels noticeably cooler. The thoroughfare stretches out in front of you with doorways leading to other areas of the ship visible in the distance. And here we are in the 4-feed thoroughfare. I know. I went to my quarters earlier when I came aboard. The shocked expression. What did you just say? 4-side thoroughfare. No, I don't think you did. I 100% said 4-side fair. Aha! You know, it's a tricky thing to say. You try saying it quickly. Four-side thoroughfare. Four-five thoroughfare. Four-five thoroughfare. Aha, yourself. We'll call this a draw, Lieutenant. Okay, so we need to go to... Yeah. And this is the second set of crew quarters, where operations staff, that's me and Vanessa, the department heads and the captain have their quarters. Makes sense. Now, of course it's obvious why you'd come this way so soon after finding out I was part of the crew. Where do you meet? Wait, hey, I'm on duty right now, you know. I know. And despite you let your libido guide you to my quarters, you animal. Let's maybe save that for later, okay? You tease. Okay. Let's go here. The captain's quarters sit at the end of the corridor, differentiated from the other doors in the corridor by the small insignia that sits above the nameplate. Like others in the corridor, it displays the occupant's name. In this case, Captain Mary's Bartermuse. Even as your role as security officer, there are a few rooms on the ship that you don't have access to. The captain's quarters is one of them. There's nothing for you here right now, so you turn back. Okay. So let's see what other tasks we have. No. Well, I guess we can go to Cassandra's room. Oh, by the way, if you want to access my quarters, the passcode for the lock is 0211. It's pretty much the same passcode I use for everything. Not a very wise idea, Cassie. If you use the same code for everything, and if by chance someone figured it out, and they tried it again on some other things like social media or something like that, then they would automatically know how to take over all the software that you have. (0211). Got it. That's right. It's we got some silly ones here. Anniversary, A lucky number. Let's say anniversary. Come on, you didn't think I forget, did you? Hey, good job. Oh, wait. Before you go in, can you give me a few minutes to just tidy the place up? I was almost late for my duty shift this morning, so it's kind of a mess. Let me put some stuff away, okay? Yeah, sure. Keeping herself between you and the entrance to her room, Cassandra opens the door using the control panel to its right. As it opens, she swiftly steps through, and before it's even all the way open, closes it again using the panel on her side of the entrance. The entire time, she obstructs your view of her quarters. Thanks. Won't be for long. Promise. Oh, I missed it. A few minutes pass and you continue to stand gingerly outside of Cassie's quarters. You hear the occasional footsteps coming from the forest side thoroughfare. They all move on to other parts of the ship. Thankfully, no one stops by to ask why security is lurking outside one of the operations officer's quarters. Hey, Cassie. You give the door a gentle knock, leaning against the wall. Continue to remain on lookout for anyone who may have some questions about what you're doing out there. How's it going in there? Oh, yeah, almost done. Just give me a minute to get this sorted out and... Last pause followed by a loud bang and the sound of a small cascade of various objects on the floor. Okay, maybe a few more minutes. You sigh and step back from the door. If anyone asks, you can always tell them that you're doing spot checks for contraband or something similar. Damn. Yeah, Cassie, even though we just heard of her as a character today, and even then she's like a goof, a total goof. I like that. Done. Come in. Wow. She said she was gonna clean the room, and that doesn't look like a clean room to me. As you step through the door frame, the toe of your boot catches on a discarded pair of leggings, which are held in one place by your other foot. As you begin to fall over, you reach on to catch something to stop yourself. Unfortunately, the chair you reached out for has a uniform thrown over the backrest, which slips as you grab it, bringing both the chair and the assortment of cosmetics on the seat clattering down to the floor with you. Oh no! Sai, are you okay? I'm sorry, I thought... Cassie? Yes? I thought you said you were tidying this place up. I was! And why did I just get brained by a falling hair dryer? There was a system. Get back to your feet and right the chair as Cassie quickly grabs the assorted bottles and tubes that fell down with you, placing them randomly back on any nearby service. I just realized with her interactions with the MC, she doesn't have very good argumentative skills. You almost launch into a speech about securely stowing possessions in the case of high-speed maneuvers, but you stop yourself. Doesn't the captain ever carry out spot checks or surprise inspections? No, it's great. From what I've heard, her quarters are a worse state than mine. That's nothing to be proud of. See? That's nothing to be proud about. Is that right? Alright, let's look at all of this. Cassie's bed currently appears to acting as a makeshift wardrobe. Does she move all these clothes before she goes to sleep, or do they act as an extra sheet? How does she even have that much clothing on board anyway? Alright, what else can we check? Let's check the PC. Like everything else in this room, this terminal appears to be in use as an extra storage space. Even the chair is covered in stuff. Since Cassie's in operations, you'd think she'd make more use out of her terminal than anyone else on board. But I can't see how she uses it like this. Is there anything else we can check? What is this? Are those printed photographs? Aren't those cool? They're from our first date at the Europa amusement park. I took my Pixie Cam straight to a specialist printers the next day and got copies made. I even wrote the date on the back so I'd never forget our anniversary. Aww. That's so cute. Wait. Hold on. Is he wearing Android 17's outfit? Wow. I never knew you were that sentimental. I knew I was on to a good thing when you had held my hair back so I could barf mid-roller coaster ride. Oh my god. She even remembers the embarrassing parts to herself. You don't meet many people that be considerate when you're dating within the forces, let me tell you. Yeah, now that I think about that, it wasn't the most romantic date I'd ever been on. You still called me back up for a second date, though. Guess I must have been pretty desperate. Hey! Joking. Okay. Whoops. Let's see. Let's check our tasks. We went to... Oh, catch up with Cassandra. Okay. Let's go back. Talk to Cassandra. So, how are you finding out the gun dog so far? Enjoying the tour? The ship's pretty much the same as every other one I've been stationed on. The tour's first class, though. Maybe if working in naval operations doesn't work out, you could start your business as a tour guide back in on Europa colony? You think so? Definitely. You seem to have all the insider knowledge already, and you've been only stationed here for a few days. Imagine all the insider knowledge you could share about Europa colony. Yeah, you're right. And over here we have the statue of workers who built this colony. If you sneak around the back, you can get inside a plinth and hide. Wait, hold on. If you sneak around at the back, you can get inside the plinth and hide from colony security. If they catch you and your friends hanging out in the park, it's shut. And again, you don't think that's the kind of thing people would want to know? Maybe a bit more about the workers first. Anyway. How do you feel? Wait, did we actually do that? So, about your transfer from Reliant. I know. We don't need to have this conversation. I've already had it from Captain Singh in my dismissal and from one of the senior resource officers. You're wasting your potential. You would make an excellent captain if you took your duties seriously. Your academy scores were excellent. Wait, what? Wait. So she's actually like pretty smart, even though like so far from what we've seen of her, she's not only a trickster, but she's a little bit pawn. I'm honestly surprised. All right. I wasn't going to give you the speech. One of the only good things about not having parents is that I don't have to hear it from them too. Hey, Cassie. And it's the absolute worst hearing it from you, because I know that out of everyone, you're probably the only person that really cares. I wasn't going to give you the big speech about it. I figured you'd already heard it, had it from everyone else. I just wanted to make sure you were okay. I figured you were feeling worse than you let on. It's going to be okay, you know? A ship like this isn't the worst place to be for a while. And if things work out okay, you can always put in for the transfer and transfer back to a bigger ship. The JCF is still building up its navy, so there'll be loads of opportunities. And if that doesn't work out, there's still your career as a tour guide back on Europa. Yeah, you know it. I'd probably make a better tour guide than a ship operator anyway. I think you'd be great at whatever you decide to do, and whatever that it is, I'll be here to support you through it. Cassie? Ah, you're so cheesy sometimes. Hey! Ah, come here. Okay. What do you want to do when you've got some shore leave? So now that we're on the same ship, our shore leave will line up. Do you have anywhere you want to go? Anything you want to do? I hadn't thought about it, but I guess this means that we'll be able to go on a lot more dates now. Oh, I know. Did you hear about that new colony they've added to the Europa cluster? It's got an ultra-efficient water-holding plant, and the planners have included a water park. We should go there as soon as it opens. A water park? What's that? You never heard of a water park? Never. And one of the coolest new features on the new colonies they're building. They're like lots of big swimming pools with slides and rivers and all sorts. All the e-magazines are saying that they're going to be the coolest things to do on the colonies once they're open. Pools and slides into pools? I'm like, really exciting. Okay. Okay. I guess when we're next docked, I'll see if I can book us some tickets. Awesome! Yeah, I guess that should be it. Yeah, let me actually move back. So about your transfer from the Reliant. I know. We don't need to have this conversation. I already had it from Captain Singh in my dismissed and form. I know. We don't have to say this conversation. I've already had it from Captain Sink in my dismissal and from one of the senior resource officers. Oh, we already read that one though. I'd probably make for a better tour guide than a ship operator anyway. Oh, we already read that though. I was trying to give you the speech, I just... Oh, we're just having this again. Yeah, I think we already read that one. I think we did check this. For us. Except for us. I obviously didn't mean that about you. Okay. I think we had our discussion. We caught up with Cass. Oh, oops. Let's look at our tasks. Okay, what? Hello, Spooky. What is this? This is a visual novel about a newly hired security officer. And yeah, we're basically going around and getting introduced to the crew, to say the least. But the beginning actually showed a bit of a backstory about our main character, who is, let's see, he was part of a war that happened between the Solar Federation and the Jovians and the Martians. The Jovians are a colony, which I presume that they are on Mars, I believe. But yeah, you can eventually watch the archives and catch up with it if you can. But welcome, Spooky. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so next up, let's go to fire control. Where is it? Yeah, let's go to fire control. Yes. Moving beyond the mess hall and the hangar access. Unfortunately, I'm not doing that well, that peachy, but we ball. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope your day gets better. Moving beyond the mess hall and the hangar access, the two of you continue to the furthest end of the four-side thoroughfare. The door at the very end of the corridor is shut. The words "Fire Control" painted in its large, stenciled letters. Cassandra swipes her keycard through the reader by the door before turning to you. So this is Fire Control. The gunner's probably here, but, well, you'll see. That's pretty cryptic. Oh, hey, stranger, how you doing? As you follow Cassandra through the doorway, your eyes take a moment to adjust, as the strip lighting that illuminates the rest of the ship is now conspicuously absent. Instead, the entire room is lit by the phosphorescent glow of an alcove full of screens and readouts. Looking at the screens, each one seems to not be showing much more than a few specks on a black background. From experience, though, you know that's what you are looking at. What you are looking at is a live feed from cameras all over the ship's exterior. In the center of this alcove, facing away from you, is a seat like the ones on the bridge. From this angle, it's impossible to tell if there's anyone in it, but you notice a tinny rhythmic hiss coming from it. If I was watching some Lord of the Rings, an LOTR rewind. Yeah, these movies are long, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. So anyway, all of the ship's weapons system are controlled from here. These screens give the gunner a panoramic view of... Is the gunner here right now? You look over Cassandra's shoulder at the back of the seat. You swear you see a quick flicker of movement, but you can't be sure it's not just the flash of a readout reflecting off a surface. Oh, Dylan? Yeah, he's here. Should we say hello? Well, normally I would, but... Cassandra leans back slowly, as if trying to surreptitiously sneak a peek at what's on the other side of the chair without it noticing her. She quickly turns back to you after a moment's pause. He just looks so in the zone, you know? Seems ashamed to interrupt him. Interrupt what? Cassandra leans back again, and after a moment, quietly gestures for you to come take a look. Sat in a chair is a man who looks a little bit older than you. His eyes are closed and his face a picture of absolute serenity. I did. How was your day? It was fine. It was okay. It was nice. We're trying this VN for the first time, which is honestly kind of neat. Over his ears is possibly the single largest pair of headphones you've seen in your entire life. As he sits there, oblivious to your presence, well, gotta go, something came up. See you soon. Okay, take care, stranger. Take care, stranger, and rest well. You wonder for a moment if he's okay, or spying a cassette player poking out of his jacket pocket. You realize that the hiss you hear is the slightest whisper of the music that he's listening to escape from these substantial headphones. Is this okay? Shouldn't he be a bit more attentive? I mean, he's running the ship. So, careful. Don't worry. It's fine. He's not even in duty. Yeah, but what if there's an alert? Let's find out. Uh-oh. No, don't do it. Cassandra moves over to a panel just before the monitor Aladdin above, takes a receiver off the wall, and enters a few numbers into the keypad. Hi, Vanessa. Yeah, it's Cassie. Can we test the alert system and fire control? No, I know it's not scheduled. It's a spot check. Yeah, random testing, you know. Chief's orders. Of course she asked me. Why would I be asking for a spot test of the alert and fire control if Chief didn't ask? She didn't actually ask. You're a darling. Thanks. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Loud! In an instant, you see the figure in the chair bolt upright, yank his headphones off, and lay his hands on the fire control systems, his head snapping back and forth as he rapidly surveys the wall of monitors. False alarm? Hey, Dylan. Don't mind us. Just had to do a spot check on the alarm system. Chief's orders. Oh, hey, Quinn. No problem. Who's this? Lieutenant Najumu, ship security. Oh, hey, Warrant Officer Dylan Dees, gunner. Welcome aboard. Thanks. Well, let me know if you guys need anything. The alert totally got in the way of an awesome solo, so we're going to rewind and pick up where I left off. Good to meet you? Yeah, well, he's good at his job at least. Alright, who are we going to go for next? Gotta go to the hangar. As the two of you head down the foreside thoroughfare and away from the crew quarters, Cassie stops by a double-sized doorway and runs her keycard through the reader next to it. Watch your step, she instructs, tapping her knuckles on a large warning sign near to the door that reads Low Gravity Zone. Once the door opens, she heads through and you follow her into a wide stairwell. It only takes 2 sets of steps before you can feel yourself grow lighter. By the time you reach the doorway at the bottom, you're almost floating. Stepping into the hangar and onto the catwalk, the first thing that strikes you is the profiles of 2 armored frames stood on guard, facing the main area of the hangar. Although you fully expected to see them here, the Jovian ship features at least a few. The sight of the armored frame stirs uncomfortable memories in you, and you inadvertently grit your teeth and squeeze the handrail you've been grabbed tightly. Oh, we're back to this again. Ma'am, they're firing on us. There's so many of them. Oh, God. Ma'am, help. The line of retreat is totally cut off. We can't get back to the ship. Ma'am, what do we do? What do we do? Stop panicking and form up. 3 and 4, on me. We're going to punch a hole through their formation and... Yep, he's just reminded of it again. Hey, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I think it's just a change in gravity level that left me a bit queasy. I know how you feel. I was late for a hangar audit once and rushed down straight after a big lunch. I was moving so fast that with a gravity shift, my stomach contents couldn't keep up. Wow, you say that with the most cheerful way possible. Yeah, I went really fast. I just got the Speed Force. I stole it from the Flash. I could go so fast that my stomach, which can't handle it, just allows me to throw up. Gross. Tell me about it. I did everything I could to keep my mouth shut. You know the rule for low gravity zones. What you spew is left up to you. I wasn't going to be late and on cleanup duty. So that's a pretty good one. If what you spew is left up to you. That was pretty cool. Speaking of duties, shouldn't there be someone around here? Dalton should be around here somewhere. If you're feeling funny, stay here for a moment and I'll go see if I can find him. Sure? You watch as, despite the 15-meter difference between the catwalk on the hangar floor, Cassie nonchalantly places her 2 hands on the handrail and deftly vaults over it into the emptiness. Thanks to low gravity, she doesn't fall, but instead kicks off the railing, propelling herself through the air. As Cassandra drifts off, eventually catching to one of the armored frame's legs and using it to swing herself around to float to a different direction, you place your elbow on the railing and your head in your hand. You turn your attention back to the stoic features on the armored frame's heads and sigh deeply. Your attention is caught by the cockpit hatch on one of the frames being half open. Looking around, you see everything as you'd expect. Armored frame weapon, racks, storage containers, various equipment, all of it restrained appropriately and fastidiously arranged. The cockpit hatch is the only thing that breaks that pattern. It's weird. I can't find him anywhere. I know it's definitely a shift right now, so he should be around somewhere. Looking past Cass and at the armored frame of the Ajar cockpit, I think it's Ajar cockpit. A thought strikes you. I think I might have an idea. Follow me. We carry out the same vaulting maneuver that Cassie had performed and kick off towards the huge machine's cockpit. When it's close enough, you grab a hold of its arm and pull yourself up towards the open hatch. A few seconds later, Cassie appears behind you, and you both notice the sound of gentle snoring coming from within the cockpit. Well, Lieutenant Commander, this is an operations issue, so I'll let you handle it. Leaving the discipline up to me again? Huh? Cassandra nimbly clambers up the armored frame, positioning herself right above the cockpit. Bracing herself on the machine's chest, she brings her heel down sharply and repeatedly on the armor. Cadet Grange, attention! You hear a muffled scream from within the cockpit, followed by a dull thud, a string of muttered cursing, and then finally a figure emerges from the cockpit. Ma'am, I was just checking the calibrations. The calibrations on the AF. I got some feedback that... Oh, it's just you, Commander Quinn. Excuse me? Just? Is that how you address a superior officer, cadet? Oh, ma'am. No, ma'am. I was expecting to see you in the hangar, ma'am. Oops, sorry. Okay, you can tone it a bit down again, Dalton. Oh, oh. Yes, ma'am. Good enough, I suppose. Anyway, Cadet, this is Lieutenant Najumu, ship's security officer. Oh, sir, Cadet Dalton Grange, junior engineer. Good to meet you, Cadet. Looks like they got you working hard. Looks like. Oh, no, sir. Well, that's a yes, sir. But not so hard. I'm falling asleep. No, sir. I was recalibrating the sensor array on the... Take it easy, Cadet. We've all taken a nap in the cockpit in our lives. Well... Of course, we never took cockpit naps with the chief giving us our orders, so you probably need to get back on whatever you were doing, huh? I totally forgot. She's going to kill me. Good kid, right? I feel sorry for him already. Alright, who shall we meet up next? Let's check the list again. Okay, so the only ones left are the mess hall. Okay, so I guess next up is the mess hall. Visit the mess hall. Alright, let's go. And here we have the highlights of this entire tour. The mess hall. Cassandra's face is radiating happiness as she gestures through the double doorway that you're stood by into the frames hall. Looking inside, you see a canteen like any other. Tables, choirs, vending machines, it's all there. Cassandra's face is radiating happiness as she gestures through the double doorway that you stood by her. Okay. This is the highlight. Looks pretty standard mess hall to me. You bet. Do you want to know why? Tell me. As they got a bunch of the different kinds of vending machines. The red one stocks the spicy potato chips, and the white one has all the different chocolate bars. Wow, that's all the bases covered, huh? They've got all the fundamental food groups. I'm not sure. Hey, Quinn! A voice calls from further in. Hadn't noticed, but ever noticed them previously If you hadn't noticed them previously because of Cassandra's enthusiastic presentation of the vending machines, but someone sat in the far corner, stands up, drops a half-smoked cigarette into a coffee cup, and strides over. What's going on, Quinn? Who's this? Lieutenant Rumney? Were you just smoking in the mess hall? Take it easy. Take it easy, Quinn. I was sat right by the extractor vent for the meal vendor. No harm, no foul. That's not the point. The extra strain on the air scrubbers from cigarette. Yeah. So anyway, who is this hottie? Oh, cat's got her tongue. Name's Harurumi. What about you, good looking? Oh, Lieutenant Najumu, ship security. Najumu? No way, really? Last time I checked. Alright, good to know. That's all for me. That's all for me, Najumu. You know where to find my quarters one, do right? Which one? Hey, hello, Fran. Good evening. Welcome, welcome. Ah, nice. Catch you later. What was that all about? Cassie? You know where their room is, do you? I mean, I do. It's near mine. I didn't... That's not what their room... Their room is right next to mine. Oh my god, this is so awkward. Alright, where are we going next? Let's look at the map. Let's see. Our brother's cat is staying for one night because he has to fix something. Oh, okay. I'll take good care of the little fella. Okay, now I need to go to my own quarters. There. Yes. Oh, Cassie, before we go, do you want something from the vending machine? Chocolate? Chips? Soda? Yeah, I'll look after Shadow. Oh, his name is Shadow, huh? Good name. Don't think I don't know what you're trying to do, Lieutenant. I promise I didn't get what Haru was saying about their room. Okay, there's gonna be a chocolate bar. Okay, sure. Wait, 2 chocolate bars. Sure. Wait, 3! Damn, okay. She really wants those wants that chocolate. So your quarters are down this way, huh? That's right. Why? I was wondering where you'd be. On a Swift class, there's 2 different quarter sections. One has all the department chiefs, whilst the other has the crew that works within those departments. Since you're the only security officer on board, I was wondering if you count as a department head or not. Well, I guess I don't. I'm just slumming it. Oh, that's not... What I meant was that, I'm messing with you. Don't worry about it. The head of security is typically under the captain's instruction anyway, so it makes sense that my quarters are down this way. I guess so, when you put it like that. So, have you met any of your neighbors yet? Well, let's see. I did, because once you check this, yeah, all are done. Okay, let's go to the quarters again. Yes. As you step into your quarters, Cassandra follows you in. She stands by the door for a moment, looking around the room before turning to face you. Wow, you really like to keep it tidy, don't you? Of course, someone has to be clean around here, unlike you, Missy. I've only just got here. That's not a lot of time to make a mess. Are you kidding? I'm pretty sure my bag exploded the moment I stepped into my quarters. Jovian military supplies just aren't what they used to be. Or maybe it was operator error? What's that supposed to mean, Lieutenant? Nothing. Just considering all possibilities. Wait, is that... What? Lieutenant Najumu, don't tell me that. What? What is it? Your chair. It's not perfectly aligned with the terminal. This girl, I swear. I guess nobody's perfect, huh? But I would have made more of an effort if I knew the officer doing spot checks was such a stickler. I suppose I won't have to report you to the captain this time, Lieutenant. Oh my god. Alright, let's see. Let's see how we're doing in our tasks. Yeah, I think we did everything. So let's go back. Let's talk to Cassandra for a bit. Hey, want to see something cool? I feel like this may be a bad idea, but go on. Alright, I've always loved your sense of adventure. Now, check this out. If you work your fingers under the bottom of one of the panels by your bunk, you can take it off its mountings and there's a recess behind it that you can stash contraband in. Oh! How about this floor panel? Did you know that if you use something strong enough, you can pry it open and it leads into a crawl space below the decks that you'd use to get to other areas of the ship? Yeah. Alright, but I bet you didn't know that if you logged into your terminal and entered a secret code that you can play Snake. That too. Sorry. Well, fine. I guess you probably know every secret on the ship then. Well, not every secret, but I am a security officer. I've seen and caught every trick there is when it comes to contraband, crew breaking, fraternization rules, or system exploits. It'd have to get pretty technical to get past me. Wait, how do you know all this? Oh, well, that is, back to the tour. Oh, man, this girl. But, yeah, I think we should probably call it here for today. Oh, we're in chapter 2? Oh, interesting. But yeah, I think we're gonna have to call it here for tonight. This video is actually pretty cool. We're already getting introductions on most of the cast, and they seem like a fun bunch. Especially Cassie, who is, you know, she's kind of a goof. She's kind of a goof in more ways than one. And surprisingly smart. She just needs to actually put in a little bit of extra effort. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen as the story progresses, and I'm pretty curious on how things are going to go overall. But yeah, we're gonna hopefully continue this next week. With that said, guys, thank you all for watching tonight, either live or via the archives. Tomorrow we'll be going back to Monster Hunter Wilds. We got a few interesting updates. We got a tempered monster. We got an event quest with Guardian Fulgur Anjanath, and more importantly, Akuma shows up, and you can basically play as him, and he is much more expanded as a quote-unquote moveset compared to how he was in Rise. So I'm actually curious on how we're going to try him out and see if we can actually Raging Demon some of the monsters that are available. But before I go, let me see if I can send you guys somewhere on the Twitch side of things. Just give me a moment. Let's see, visual novel. Let me see if anyone is actually playing visual novels. doesn't seem like it. All right. Let's see if we have any of the people I'm following. You know, I did not raid to them before, but they did, like, follow me on Twitter, so let's actually check them out. And unfortunately, we can't do that. All right, so we'll look for someone else. Yeah. We did not raid to her yesterday as she was playing Granblue, but let me send you guys over to Kayatsuhime, right? She is playing some more GBVSR. She's checking out the buff bubs who seems like a little much better than he was in the previous patches. So yeah, let me put that in there. Okay, yeah. Alrighty guys, I hope you all have a great night, evening, or afternoon, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye-bye.